Welcome to this Best of the Best Employment of People with Disabilities Forum. My name is Peter Rickards. I'm President ADDE, Australians for Disability and Diversity Employment, and it's my great honour and privilege to MC this forum today. I'm certainly looking forward to some fantastic speeches and presentations, and I think even our dog guides will have something worth chewing on after the session today. I've got my notes here on Braille. I'm explaining to Graham here before that I've only been learning this, so it's like learning a new language in later life. It takes a bit of a challenge, so if anyone's sort of making great gesticulations or yelling at me from the side, it's probably because I've forgotten to say something or I've got something out of order. Now, just before we start, a few housekeeping things. These audio loops, if you need one to switch on. Today's forum will be having our 5 speakers, then question and answer 4, and if you could just make sure you've got your microphone in your hand before you speak, that would be appreciated. We'll be sending the presentations in a written form to everybody by email, and we'll also hopefully have the presentations on our website as a video presentation. So before starting, just a few thank yous. I'd like to thank the Department of Human Services for their funding support, the Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission for this magnificent venue and the absolutely sensational support they've given us to put this on today. For our committee, who do a great job and are all working hard to help this happen, especially to Jeff Crawford and Kathy Leach in our office, who worked tirelessly today and are still doing that. And last but not least, the Australian Federation of Disability Organisations, AFDO, who have been a great assistance to us on an ongoing basis. And we launch into our magnificent group of speakers. I just want to spend a few minutes to set the scene a bit on why we're running this forum. Now, the unemployment situation for people with disabilities in Australia is not a good look, and is in fact probably even getting worse when you consider the fact we have low unemployment of less than 5%. The fact that research has shown that more than 60% of people with certain types of disabilities, and maybe all, are unemployed. The fact that Bureau of Statistics figures show that more than 1.1 million of working age are unemployed. And the fact that the OECD survey showed that Australia is about 16th out of 19 countries in terms of our performance of people with disabilities. And to add to that, you're probably most of you aware that the Federal Public Service statistics on employment in the last 10 years have gone back 6.4% to less than 3%. Now, the reason we formed ADDE was back in 2005. A group of people got together with disabilities who were feeling aggrieved that the system wasn't working in employment, and we decided jointly to try and do something about it. So we formed ADDE, set up a steering committee, And our vision is to create increase employment opportunities for people with disabilities and from diverse backgrounds. And our mission, we aim to do this by systemic advocacy, social enterprise, strategic partnerships, and membership participation. Now, the first project we undertook was to get some benevolent trusts in Victoria to put up some money to do a research. A lot of us had found that working in the not-for-profit and government wasn't working well for us. So we did a research called Leading from the Front, which is on our website, and there are some copies on the desk. The findings of that research were about 8 findings, which we won't go into today, but basically what it showed was that the not-for-profit disability sector and government sectors by and large were not leading from the front in employment of people with disabilities. Now, having had the opportunity to be a judge at the National Diversity at Work Awards the last 3 years in the disability category, reinforced to me that this in fact is the reality, because most of the good nominations for employment were from small and medium for-profit companies. And where really there needs to be change in Australia is when you get an organisation becoming a bureaucracy, that's when the wheels fall off, by and large. However, today, our Best of the Best forum, we have some fantastic examples of outstanding employment practice for people with disabilities in Australia from the government and not-for-profit sectors. So it can be done, and we hope that as a result of this forum that all of you who are employers or work for employers will take away those messages and be champions in your organisations to make a difference. So without any further from me, because some of our audience, our four-legged friends, have already gone to sleep, I can see that that's the case. We'll move on to our first speaker, Graham Innes, Disability Discrimination Commissioner from Australian Human Rights. I'm sure is well known to all of you. Graham has a CV longer than my 2 arms put together, so you can look it up on his website. I actually met Graham in 1994 at the World Blind Sailing Championships in Perth. Graham was representing the West Australian team and I was representing the Victorian team. And my recollections, they didn't do all that well in sailing, but in the partying afterwards they certainly won gold medals. But Graham has kept an interest in sailing up until this day, and sailing is something where you have rough weather and fine weather. And I would think, certainly most of us are aware, that sailing, like employment for people with disabilities, is mostly in the rough weather. So, over to you, Graham. Welcome, please, welcome to the forum.